Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Grow worse. A condition inferior to an earlier condition, a gradual falling off from a better state. Go down in value. Show unwillingness towards. He declined to join the group on a hike. Refuse to accept. A downward slope or bend. A gradual decrease, as of stored charge or current. Grow smaller. Change toward something smaller or lower. Go down. The roof declines here. Inflect for number, gender, case, etc. In many languages, speakers decline nouns, pronouns, and adjectives. Grow worse. Conditions in the slum worsened. Make worse. Astronomy. The angular distance of a celestial body north or to the south of the celestial equator. Expressed in degrees, used with right ascension to specify positions on the celestial sphere. A condition inferior to an earlier condition, a gradual falling off from a better state. A downward slope or bend. A polite refusal of an invitation. Make right or correct. Correct in opinion or judgment. Socially right or correct. Correct behavior. Censure severely. Go down in value. The stock market corrected. Punish in order to gain control or enforce obedience. Adjust for. Engineers will work to correct the effects or air resistance. In accord with accepted standards of usage or procedure. Free from error, especially conforming to fact or truth. The correct answer. Make reparations or amends for. Alter or regulate so as to achieve accuracy or conform to a standard. Correct the alignment of the front wheels. Treat a defect. The new contact lenses will correct for his myopia. Fall heavily or suddenly. Decline markedly. Assume a drooping posture or carriage. A noticeable deterioration in performance or quality. The team went into a slump. Go down in value. Prices slumped. Fall or sink heavily. He slumped onto the couch. A long-term economic state characterized by unemployment and low prices and low levels of trade and investment. Refuse entrance or membership. Show unwillingness towards. Resist immunologically the introduction of some foreign tissue or organ. Refuse to accept. He refused my offer of hospitality. Food that is discarded, as from a kitchen. Elude, especially in a baffling way. Refuse to let have. Refuse to accept. Fail to acknowledge. Refuse entrance or membership. Black people were often rejected by country clubs. Deem wrong or inappropriate. Resist immunologically the introduction of some foreign tissue or organ. His body rejected the liver of the donor. Refuse to accept. The person or thing that is rejected or set aside as inferior in quality. Reject with contempt. Dismiss from consideration or a contest. Refuse to accept or acknowledge. I reject the idea of starting a war. Refuse entrance or membership. Refuse to accept. Reject with contempt. Make lower or quieter. Turn down the volume of a radio. Take a downward direction. Process of changing to an inferior state. A downward slope or bend. A class of nouns or pronouns or adjectives in Indo-European languages having the same, or very similar, inflectional forms. The first declension in Latin. The inflection of nouns and pronouns and adjectives in Indo-European languages. A downward slope or bend. A downward slope or bend. The descendants of one individual. The kinship relation between an individual and the individual's progenitors. Properties attributable to your ancestry. A movement downward. The act of changing your location in a downward direction. A downward slope or bend. Move downward and lower, but not necessarily all the way. The barometer is falling. The act of surrendering, usually under agreed conditions. Come into the possession of. When a wrestler's shoulders are forced to the mat. Fall from clouds. Rain, snow and sleet were falling. Lose an upright position suddenly. A sudden decline in strength or number or importance. The fall of the House of Habsburg. Fall or flow in a certain way. Fall to somebody by assignment or lot. A sudden sharp decrease in some quantity. When that became known, the price of their stock went into free fall. A free and rapid descent by the force of gravity. Touch or seem as if touching visually or audibly. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Come as if by falling. A downward slope or bend. The season when the leaves fall from the trees. In the fall of 1973. The time of day immediately following sunset. They finished before the fall of night. A sudden drop from an upright position. Come under, be classified or included. Fall into a category. Be inherited by. A lapse into sin, a loss of innocence or of chastity. A fall from virtue. A movement downward. The rise and fall of the tides. Assume a disappointed or sad expression. Be born, used chiefly of lambs. Be captured. Be cast down. Be due. Payments fall on the first of the month. Begin vigorously. Come out. Issue. Descend in free fall under the influence of gravity. Die, as in battle or in a hunt. Several deer have fallen to the same gun. Drop oneself to a lower or less erect position. Go as if by falling. Lose office or power. Lose one's chastity. A fallen woman. Move in a specified direction. The line of men fall forward. Occur at a specified time or place. Christmas falls on a Monday this year. Pass suddenly and passively into a state of body or mind. Fall into a trap. Slope downward. The hills around here fall towards the ocean. Suffer defeat, failure, or ruin. We must stand or fall. The lapse of mankind into sinfulness because of the sin of Adam and Eve. To be given by assignment or distribution. To be given by right or inheritance. Yield to temptation or sin. The spontaneous disintegration of a radioactive substance along with the emission of ionizing radiation. The organic phenomenon of rotting. Lose a stored charge, magnetic flux, or current. Fall into decay or ruin. The unoccupied house started to decay. A gradual decrease, as of stored charge or current. An inferior state resulting from the process of decaying. The corpse was in an advanced state of decay. The process of gradually becoming inferior. Undergo decay or decomposition. The body started to decay and needed to be cremated. Move downward and lower, but not necessarily all the way. Disappear beyond the horizon. Go under. Stop operating. Grow smaller. Be defeated. If America goes down, the free world will go down, too. A gradual decline, in size or strength or power or number. Grow smaller. Interest in the project waned. Become smaller. Interest in his novels waned. Decrease in phase. The act of decreasing or reducing something. Change toward something smaller or lower. The statement of a theme in notes of lesser duration, usually half the length of the original. Undergo a transformation or a change of position or action. To break and turn over earth, especially with a plow. Turn the earth in the spring. Twist suddenly so as to sprain. I turned my ankle and couldn't walk for several days. Pass into a condition gradually, take on a specific property or attribute, become. The weather turned nasty. Cause to move around a center so as to show another side of. Turn a page of a book. Undergo a change or development. The water turned into ice. Let something fall or spill from a container. Turn the flour onto a plate. Cause a plastic object, to assume a crooked or angular form. The strong man could turn an iron bar. Undergo a transformation or a change of position or action. We turned from socialism to capitalism. Pass to the other side of. Turn the corner. Have recourse to or make an appeal or request for help or information to. She turned to her relatives for help. Turning or twisting around, in place. A favor for someone. He did me a good turn. Change to the contrary. The tides turned against him. Game. the activity of doing something in an agreed succession. It is my turn. A short performance that is part of a longer program. A circular segment of a curve. Sports, a division during which one team is on the offensive. A time period for working, after which you will be relieved by someone else. A movement in a new direction. The turning of the wind. An unforeseen development. Events suddenly took an awkward turn. The act of changing or reversing the direction of the course. He took a turn to the right. Go sour or spoil. The cream has turned, we have to throw it out. Accomplish by rotating. Turn a somersault. Alter the functioning or setting of. Turn the dial to 10. Become officially 1 year older. She is turning 50 this year. Cause to change or turn into something different. Assume new characteristics. The princess turned the frog into a prince by kissing him. Cause to move along an axis or into a new direction. Turn your face to the wall. Cause to move around or rotate. Turn a key. Change color. In Vermont, the leaves turn early. Change orientation or direction, also in the abstract sense. The mugger turned and fled before I could see his face. Channel one's attention, interest, thought, or attention toward or away from something. The pedophile turned to boys for satisfaction. Direct at someone. She turned a smile on me. Get by buying and selling. The company turned a good profit after a year. Move around an axis or a center. The wheels are turning. Shape by rotating on a lathe or cutting device or a wheel. Turn the legs of the table. Taking a short walk out and back. We took a turn in the park. The act of turning away or in the opposite direction. He made an abrupt turn away from her. To send or let go. They turned away the crowd at the gate of the governor's mansion. A state at a particular time. The current status of the arms negotiations. The relative position or standing of things or especially persons in a society. He had the status of a minor. The procedure that is varied in order to estimate a variable's effect by comparison with a control condition. Develop a child's or animal's behavior by instruction and practice, especially to teach self-control. Specify as a condition or requirement in a contract or agreement. Make an express demand or provision in an agreement. The state of good health, especially in the phrases in condition, or in shape, or out of condition, or out of shape. A state at a particular time. A condition, or state, of disrepair. Usually plural, a statement of what is required as part of an agreement. The contract set out the conditions of the lease. An assumption on which rests the validity or effect of something else. Information that should be kept in mind when making a decision. A mode of being or form of existence of a person or thing. The human condition. An illness, disease, or other medical problem. A heart condition. Apply conditioner to in order to make smooth and shiny. I condition my hair after washing it. Establish a conditioned response. Put into a better state. He conditions old cars. Move downward and lower, but not necessarily all the way. Come from. Be connected by a relationship of blood, for example. She was descended from an old Italian noble family. Come as if by falling. Do something that one considers to be below one's dignity. Move downward and lower, but not necessarily all the way. Fall from clouds. Be the essential element. Get sick. Criticize or reprimand harshly. Show a response or a reaction to something. Act against or in opposition to. She reacts negatively to everything I say. Undergo a chemical reaction. React with another substance under certain conditions. The hydrogen and the oxygen react. React verbally. Show a response or a reaction to something. Respond favorably or as hoped. The cancer responded to the aggressive therapy. An opinion that is held in opposition to another in an argument or dispute. There are two sides to every question. An elevated geological formation. The house was built on the side of a mountain. A surface forming part of the outside of an object. He examined all sides of the crystal. Sports. The spin given to a ball by striking it on one side or releasing it with a sharp twist. A lengthwise dressed half of an animal's carcass used for food. A family line of descent. He gets his brains from his father's side. A line segment forming part of the perimeter of a plane figure. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is always the longest side. An aspect of something, as contrasted with some other implied aspect. He was on the heavy side. An extended outer surface of an object. He turned the box over to examine the bottom side. A place within a region identified relative to a center or reference location. They always sat on the right side of the church. Either the left or right half of a body. He had a pain in his side. Located on a side. Side fences. One of two or more contesting groups. The Confederate side was prepared to attack. Take sides for or against. An elevated geological formation. Be at an angle. Have a tendency or disposition to do or be something, be inclined. He inclined to corpulence. Make receptive or willing towards an action or attitude or belief. Their language inclines us to believe them. An inclined surface connecting two levels. Bend or turn one's ear towards a speaker in order to listen well. He inclined his ear to the wise old man. Feel favorably disposed or willing. She inclines to the view that people should be allowed to express their religious beliefs. Lower or bend, the head or upper body, as in a nod or bow. She inclined her head to the student. The property possessed by a line or surface that departs from the horizontal. An elevated geological formation. He climbed the steep slope. Be at an angle. The terrain sloped down. A process of becoming smaller or shorter. The amount by which something decreases. A process of becoming smaller or shorter. The act of decreasing or reducing something. Decrease in size, extent, or range. The amount of homework decreased towards the end of the semester. A change downward. There was a decrease in his temperature as the fever subsided. Make smaller. He decreased his staff. The amount by which something decreases.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.